Your friends call you a Punjabi Parsi.
Parsis can be a little tight-fisted. I'm very large-hearted. Money has never been a big thing in my life. So I earn, I spend. I earn, I spend.
You can make it in life despite not doing so well in studies.
I'll give you one example. Mukul will kill me, but I still give it to you. So he used to sit at the Oberoi. I said, "Yaar, Mukul, do you remember those days? And today I'm told you're charging 1 crore for going out of town." "Uncle, किसी को बताना नहीं. I'm charging 2 crore.
How did the name Uncle come about?
Arun said, तुम uncle हो भैया. They always felt that I was a little more savvy than the rest of them.
The big picture man.
No, I don't know. He's uncle की एक बात है. He'll say something today, we'll all laugh, but 2 साल के बाद ठीक निकलती है.
You said your life actually began in SRC.
If I have to pinpoint one thing, it is that Arun Jaitley became a friend of mine. So very thin, very good-looking individual comes up and says, "Hello, I'm Arun Jaitley." And with that one handshake, we became, in a sense, friends for life. We just got along.
What were the emergency days like?
Terrible.
What are your experiences of that time?
Horrible. So-and-so arrested, Ataji arrested, Moraji arrested, and everybody arrested, JP arrested. No. I didn't know there was a warrant out for me, but you know that it could happen, I then went what they call underground.
You were not tempted to
Not at all.
become a full-time politician?
No, I was not tempted to go to jail.
Modi? Have you had interactions with him?
Not really. I met him. I do know him a bit. Thing with him is that he is an exceptionally fast learner. The second difference between him and a lot of politicians is what Prashant Kishore once told me. He said, they all work hard. But if Mamta is doing party work, then from morning to evening, she'll only do party work. He said, Modi can switch. What he has is Bill Clinton's ability. Take a problem, deal with it, and then just keep it to the side and go to something else. So he has that great ability to live in the moment.
Rahul Gandhi? He talks all about the downtrodden, about the issues of Gen Z.
I don't think Rahul is the natural politician. You or me today going and sitting with the Jhukki Jhompdi walas and sort of trying to talk to them about their problems. They relate to us. I don't think they will because they don't feel we're part of them. When Modi talks, I think they relate to him because they feel that he was one of them.
The one case that everybody remembers in recent times is the Raian Khan case.
The reason why I met Shahrukh was this. When the case first came, I'm sitting in my bedroom, my daughters were there, Tyra and Yarika. I said, chalo, achhi baat hai, we got a nice juicy case. We'll send a proper bill. Tyra looked at me and said, Dad, you can't charge Shahrukh Khan? So I said, I can't charge Shahrukh Khan?
Yeah, so everybody loves Shahrukh Khan.
Yeah. So anyway, so I written Shahrukh a letter saying, all these years the kids have sort of emulated you and this is their way of paying back and this is payback time, so there's no charge. With the film stars, as with a lot of very rich people, I don't think they really love paying.
And before that, when you were coordinating the whole thing, did the nervousness kind of come across?
If you take a big matter and you lose it, then the whole world is going to say, Marwa jana, aur baitho Taj mein.
When did Manik happen, that chapter of life?
So, 79 I came back. Then Manik I met. Slowly as we started getting to know each other better, we liked each other more. And then...
What happened to all those string of girlfriends that you had?
There was no string of girlfriends. There was one steady girlfriend. She's still a very good friend. Our families are very close friends to each other. I had a cancer in 2001. All my friends flew down. But when I was being wheeled in, Arun said, Uncle, ye to sirf tum hi kar sakte ho. My wife was on one side and my former girlfriend was on the other.
Baatein Dil se, with me Navika Kumar. Today I have a guest like no other. Somebody who's everybody's friend. Somebody whose number is on everybody's speed dial. Somebody who will bail you out whenever you are in trouble. I know I have his number on speed dial because he runs the biggest litigation law firm, but he's not limited to that. Nothing is enough to define Raian Karanjawala, the one and only, the man who has friends across the aisle in politics, amongst the celebrities, Bollywood, you name it, industrialists from Ambanis to Adanis, from Tatas to the Nasli Wadias. Raian Karanjawala, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Raian, when people say that you are the biggest conversationalist, you're anybody's dream to have on a podcast because you're so full of stories. You know what's happening everywhere, from Delhi to Mumbai, from legal circles to corporate boardrooms. How do you manage that?
I actually don't, but I allow people to believe it. So basically, two, three things. One is that by nature, I'm a bit of an extrovert. I would be called, I'd call myself mildly extrovertish. Second, I go out very often. So every day for the last 35 years, 6 times a week, I have lunch with somebody. And it's not a client. It's almost never a client. It's usually a friend.
A mover and
No,
shaker.
no. Some of them are just my old friends. Like from my school days. Today I had lunch with Girish Sarin. I had lunch, finished with him, and then came here. So it's just a group of people, but they have to be also people who are interesting, who have conversations. I find lunches to be my best social interaction because it's one-on-one normally. You talk, and I'm always frank, and you talk with people who are equally frank with you. And over a period of time, you just circulate, and that's how it is. So when you talk to a lot of people, you listen to a lot of people, you do pick up more information than most people can.
If somebody were to steal your phone, how many phone numbers would they find in your directory?
5,000.
5,000.
About 5,000. 5, 6, 5.5. I've checked it, so about 5,500.
And all of these are...
These are not people I meet you, I store your number, and then when you call me back, I know it is. But I don't pick up unknown numbers. I find it too hassly, My wife is always, Manik is always doing, no, acha, okay, like that. So I don't do that. So anybody who I just plug the number in, and Apple has unlimited storage, so.
And does anybody have to work very hard to get to you, have their number saved on
Not at all.
Raian Karanjawala?
Not at all.
You're very democratic.
I'm very egalitarian in this. I mean, if I meet you and I've asked, I've given you my card, so that's how you store your number with me. So why would I be? I mean, it's an easy phone. It's not a difficult phone.
But Raian, you are a lawyer. You run the largest law practice. You handle complex matters, and you're known to be the best legal strategist that there is. How do you manage all of that with your daily lunches?
So the answer is simple. First, I don't run the biggest law firm. That's just a myth. I probably run the biggest litigating law firm, but that's a small aspect of law. I run the largest. Also, my way of running is not the way most managing partners run. Most managing partners are into the thick of things, the day-to-day of law. And I'm not. I run the office. My partners run the day-to-day. I haven't stepped into court in the last 50. I mean, the last time I went to court was for two things. One is for Ratan's personal matter on that privacy that he had filed. And the second was when the doctor who operated on me, Dr. Praful Desai, had a case in court. That's the time I came to court because I owed it to him, and we won that case for him. And all the counsel at different points of time, Salve, Singhvi, all appeared pro bono because of me. That's the only time I've gone to court in recent times. So I mean, they won't even let me in probably if I went today. But we run a very large, every day we have a lot of matters on board in quite a large number. Now, obviously you can't get into the day-to-day of 60 matters on board. So you delegate it, and once you and I'm a very good delegator. I'm not insecure. I'll give it to people. I trust them. They handle it. It's fine.
That's really saying a lot, that you're not insecure. Half the people in this world who are control freaks, do they do it because they're insecure?
Partially, but I've never been one of those. I've never been. Somehow God's been kind to me. I've never really been insecure about things,
Are you, they call you, your friends call you a Punjabi Parsi. What does that really mean?
Actually, the person who called me that was Bepsi Nariman. So, I have the eccentricity. I am a Parsi, genetically. I have the eccentricity of a Parsi. I have got my own quirks, and all my friends know that. But I don't have that Parsi sort of, Parsis can be a little tight-fisted. I'm very large-hearted. I'm very khulla.
I know. People say
No,
कि
that I don't know.
आपका दिल समाता ही नहीं है body में.
See, for me, I mean, money is no big deal in the sense that it doesn't matter to me. I may not be rich, I may not be poor, but money has never been a big thing in my life. I mean, I earn, I spend. I earn, I spend. That's the way my personality is. And
You
that's
keep the economy moving.
Well, whatever. I keep myself happy. But I mean, that's how it goes. So it's not a...
And Punjabi?
That's the Punjabi in me.
That's the Punjabi.
Yeah, that's like going out, spending, showing off a little bit, being a bit flashy. That's me.
Flashy.
Well, I mean, certainly more than most.
More than most.
I mean, my wife is far, for example, my wife's a Maharashtrian. My wife is far more quieter than I am.
And how do you were like this right from childhood, or is this a trait you picked up?
You see, I was always fairly outgoing, probably from childhood. But I think I really sort of came into my own when I joined Commerce College.
SRCC.
Yeah. So if you want the chronology of my life, it's very simple. My parents married in Bombay, then they shifted here.
Okay.
All right. The reason they shifted was very simple. It was the normal, what they call it, the Saas Bahu. So
so you come from a Saas Bahu?
No, I don't come from that. But my mom never got along with my granny, her mother-in-law, and my granny. And both are strong. Both were strong women, and both were difficult people.
And Parsis?
Yeah, of course. It's a Parsi family. So my mother's side of the family we were the poor cousins, but my mother's side of the family was an industrial family. They owned Grindwell, which became Grindwell Norton, Bharat Tires, and so on and so forth. So one day, her cousin, Naushir, who was the managing director of Grindwell, then came and told my mom, listen, we need a branch manager because we're starting a branch of, it was called Grindwell Abrasives in those days. We're starting a branch in Delhi. Nogi was my dad's name. So why don't you and Nogi shift to Delhi? So mom just jumped at the opportunity. And before my dad could say it, he was in Delhi.
Okay.
Simple.
So the biggest problem sorted. And then you grew up here. And
I mean, kindergarten was across the road, but then Frank Anthony School for the first 4 years, then Columbus School, then Commerce College. And then for a variety of reasons which we'll come to later, government law. And then back to Delhi.
Okay. So Delhi is, and
Delhi
that's
is
where you became a Punjabi, really speaking. Delhi grows on people in different ways.
It's my favorite city. A lot of people ask me, Delhi is by far my favorite city. If I had a choice living anywhere in the world, I'd live here.
Delhi versus New York?
Any day.
Any day?
Any day.
Okay, so what is it about Delhi?
First, look at Delhi's grown. You have to remember that the Delhi when I went to college, to government law, and the Delhi today is grown. Today, Delhi is a bustling cosmopolitan with a fair amount of wealth, a lot of
ostentatious.
Yeah, and because it's a capital, it's a nice city. It's developed. They don't let it crumble. I went to Ahmedabad the other day. I had to have a lunch with Gautam Adani. We sort of, we're pushing it off. I went after 20 years. I found it to be a one-horse town. The first thing I told Gautam Bhai when I met him was, how can you have an Olympic in this city? I mean, if you go to Ahmedabad, it's just, you contrast Delhi with Ahmedabad. You just see how well Delhi has developed. Secondly, Delhi, you still have the ability to live in a large house. You can take a place on rent and you can have a party where the 40 people can fit into your homes. In Bombay, there will be a few, but there'll be very few people who can take 40 people into their house for a lunch or a dinner. So, you have that space. So it gives you a lot of things which when you live here, you take for granted.
So let's start at the beginning. You said, when your parents shifted here, you grew up Frank Anthony and St. Columbus. What was it growing up in those days in Delhi?
So I saw the 1963 war. That's the China war, isn't it?
Yeah.
I saw it from our house in Mathura Road. We were living in a place called 11 Mathura Road, and it was, you know, KPS Tulsi, the lawyer.
KTS, yeah.
Yeah. So he's now taken part of that house, bought it, and that's his house. So that was the house we were living in. Across the road was Sudarshan Mishra, who was living in 7 Factory Road. I mean 7 Mathura Road. So today my Samdi, because Sudarshan is our Samdi, his son married my younger daughter, is really technically my oldest friend. So when we used to go over, play, those days Delhi was very simple. You know, you went across, even when we, from Mathura Road, when we shifted to Defense Colony, what did we do? Basically, what was your life? You went to school, then you came back. Then in the colony, especially in Def Call, across our street was a park. So we used to go play a bit of cricket, a bit of football. I played football with Derek O'Brien, who was also living down there. The O'Brien brothers were there in those days. His dad, I think, was in charge of the Oxford Press at that time and so on. So it was just a very homogeneous kind of kids hanging out together, then walking to the market, spending a little money, eating something, coming back. There used to be a bookstore called Love, Laugh and Learn, which used to be, you know, you borrowed a book, you paid some 10 paisa or whatever for the day, and you took it and you read it and returned it and so on. It was a simple life. It was an easy life. It was a middle class life, but it was a fun life.
And then from St. Columbus to SRCC, things changed.
Yeah. So let's put it this way. In school, I was the thinnest person of the school and the second shortest. So, I mean, you take any school. And I was a little bit of a, you know, I was not distinctive in any great way. I did a little bit of declamation and a little bit of debate, not even debating, declamation, a little bit of acting, but nothing great. And, you know, bad in studies, not doing too well. I got a first in IIC, most people did. I got into Commerce College. Okay. And that is where people say, and that Bobby Bedi, who was with us in school, you know who I'm talking about, the guy who made Bandit Queen. Yes. So Bobby Bedi said the other day, he said Raian actually was born in Commerce College. And that's a fact. He said before that he was nothing to
nondescript.
Yeah, absolutely. Nondescript. I had a group of friends, good friends in school, all of them, and they're still all mates of mine, but nothing that great. Commerce College changed me.
I know, you know, a half-finished book or autobiography that you're writing.
I'm not writing.
You're not writing? No, somebody's chronicling it?
No. I just decided against it.
No?
Yeah, and for 3 reasons. One is, I don't think it's an interesting enough life. A lot of people were keen, actually, can any write down, but three things dissuaded me. One is, I don't think it's an interesting enough life, but okay, even assuming that you can make it interesting. Secondly, today, nobody reads a book. So you spend 1.5 years slogging it out, rewriting, and then 300 people have read it.
It's better to do a podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. And the third is, when you write a book, you know, especially for a person like me, everybody who's not been mentioned is going to remember it. I still remember, I mean, it's a childish thing to say, but I still remember. And Fali Nariman wrote, Fali was I was very close to the family, and still I'm very close to Rohinton. So when Fali Nariman wrote his first book, the first thing I did is I took it out, I went to the bibliography and saw.
Aapka naam nahi tha?
My name wasn't there.
Oh my God.
So then I remembered, okay, boss, isme to tum maroge. You know, that's the whole point. Because so, kitab to likh li, you get 2-3 people, research, karo, ye karo, wo karo, you get your whole life together, you feel great, arey wah, I forgot I did this, you put it all in a packet. Pehle to 200 log padhenge. So you'll be like that. Then after
not enough royalty coming in.
Forget royalty. You don't do it for the money. Then the second thing is that there is a lot, it's like a wedding where you don't invite people. There's a lot of antagonism. You know, so I said, chodo na boss, you're still in practice.
And whoever you write about will say, ye story kyun likh di?
Why did you point? But you didn't mention that I did this so well. Why you only mentioned, you know, like that. So I think, you know,
life is peaceful. So, and when you have 5,500 friends, it's better not to write.
Everyone on the phone is not a friend.
Okay.
But anyway, so I just
let's say 3,000 of them are friends.
Anyway, so that was it. So, where were we?
So, you know, in that collection, just to get a sense, I was going through, and the book, I like the name, The Big Picture. You really are the big picture man. You can see things that most other people can't.
Well, that's what people say, and it's kind of them. Yeah, but that is what people say.
What makes you do that? And
I suppose it's just how
gifted?
it's just how you are. I mean, see, first by nature I'm suspicious a bit. So if you, I'll always motive attribute. No, he's saying it because of that. So that's one. Secondly, I'm very speculative. So I always have some theory or gyan to give. And third, I do have an ability to connect dots, I think. And people who chat with me a fair amount also agree. A lot of people don't agree. So I mean, that's up for debate. So
but they're still friends, even if they don't agree with you.
You don't have to agree on a quality of mine. I mean, I don't lose friends.
You don't lose friends. You keep them close.
I don't lose friends. I don't get that close that I feel. I don't think I've ever lost a friend.
That's a wonderful. I mean, maybe you should write a book on that.
No.
How to win friends and keep them with you could be an art not many people have.
You have to know
where to draw the line.
Yeah, you have to know how to give them space and where not to get too close. Basically, you can only be friendly with people who are fundamentally like you and who you will like. And those where you think ये जमने वाली नहीं है, you keep your distance. Hi boss, कैसा हो? Whatever. We must have coffee.
Okay, so anybody who meets Raian and he's just saying this, hi, great,
no,
well, now knows.
Well, now. But yeah, you got the point.
Okay. So schooling, you must have met kids your age at that time from other schools. You said you were nondescript. Why do you say that? Were other kids smarter at that time? The modern school kids, the DPS kids?
So going back, I will say one thing. Columbus was a brilliant school in the sense that it had the best academic credentials of its time, because my batch never had a 5-point. I think Sandeep Singh Bedi, that's Bobby Bedi, topped my batch. Even Ravi Dubey got a 7-point. But the batch before us had 5 5-pointers and the topper of Asia. So it was a very good school in terms of academic output. That was one. But the one thing that happened with all of us, and I've noticed it and I've observed it and people have agreed with me. It was a strict school. The Irish brothers were, canes were flying in those days, left and right. So there was no, and discipline was a hard thing. So all of us, by and large, Columbans, are very law-abiding. Modernites are always daredevil. They have that little, what?
Street smart, as they say.
Well, street smart, little pushy, whatever. So there is a huge contrast, in the personalities of the two schools. I mean, I haven't interacted so much with people from DPS and also I can't really say. But in these two schools, I've noticed this contrast.
I see it every day. My husband went to Columbus. My boys went to modern school. So I see it on a daily basis.
So do you agree with me?
I agree. They become worldly wise, pushy, and they can abide. Yeah. The others.
Amity is like that. Amity, where my children went, I refuse to let them go outside Delhi to study. So Amity is a very street smart school. I still remember Tyra had barely, this was her first day, when suddenly they did a slideshow. If you're a lawyer and you're successful, Fali Nariman, charging so much, Mukul Rohtgi charging so much, so put up their fees. I went to Mukul and said, do you know what they're doing? He said, kya kar rahe ho? I said, this is what they're doing. Amity was a very, very sort of street smart, chalta hai, manage karenge kind of place.
Kitne paise banane hain.
As Tyra said, because Tyra went to, they both went to Kamil. So she said, there we only believe that pray to God and forget about money. In Amity, it was totally commercial. So it was a contrasting world.
But streetwise. So then you said your life actually began in SRC.
In a sense, yes.
Why? I mean, you suddenly
got into... So if I have to pinpoint one thing, it is that Arun Jaitley became a friend of mine. And I'll explain what I mean by that. So I'm walking down the corridor of Commerce College and somebody walks up, very thin, very good looking, very sort of urbane individual comes up and says, hello, Arun Jaitley, and I'm contesting for college union president. And with that one handshake, we became, in a sense, friends for life. We just got along. Sometimes this happens in life with people. You just get along. You're on the same. So Arun brought me into
Politics straight away.
first college debating.
Okay.
Debating was a big thing, and I became a very good debater. So after Arun left, I captained Commerce College. Later, I captained government law on the debating team. Then Arun introduced me to student politics. So in my second year, I became a Supreme Councillor. In my third year, I became college union president. And then Arun introduced me to the ABVP, which was, the sort of one of the RSS outfits, which was not really a branch of the BJP, but in the same ilk and in the same ideology.
Roots were there.
Yeah, and elections, DU elections in those days were very ideological, very sort of Congress versus ABVP versus the socialists who were combined with the left. That's how it was. So first, what happened is...
So you were more right-wing. So ABVP.
You become what you are. Now. In life, you'll find that you end up on the side of the road where you are. You become more like the people you're around. It's a natural thing. So, and in those days, the debate was the same as it is today in politics.
Yeah.
Are you for the Prime Minister? Are you against the Prime Minister? Those days it was Mrs. Gandhi. Today it's Narendra Modi. So that is how it was. It was not there was no Hindu Muslim in those days. If it was subdued at a sort of a subconscious, unconscious level.
Yeah, people didn't use these words.
It was basically anti Mrs. Gandhi's dictatorship or pro her. The division was very clear. So first, debating. What used to happen with debating? It was a fantastic outlet to earn, or a platform to earn money, in the sense that in those days, you went to debate. If you won the first prize, it was usually $100, and then accordingly less and less, the second and third, and so on and so forth. So for all of us who were middle class kids and not funded too heavily by our parents, picking up extra money, pocket money, was always a great thing. And I was a pretty good debater, so college.
So the pocket money kept flowing.
Yeah, it kept flowing. By and large, it kept flowing, and then so that is one. Debating was a very big thing in DU. So, for example, who were the people we debated against, and who were the people we met, and how did I know one? So obviously there was Arun, because he was leading the team when he was in Commerce College. Then on the other side there was Hardeep Puri from Hindu College. Then there was Pawan Verma from Law Fac or somewhere or the other. Then there was Shashi Tharoor and Ramu Damodran and Swapan Das Gupta at a lesser level from Stephens, and so on. There was Halmara Kaul from LSR, there was Tota Mukherjee from Miranda. There were a host of debaters, and probably Navtesh Sarna later from our college. He used to come with me when I used to captain Commerce College. So there were a lot. A guy called Jessel, he was the IFS, he died.
Yes.
So he was there. So
he used to be the government spokesperson for a long time in the foreign ministry.
So college debating was great fun. And you met all these. My friendship with Hardeep today is from those days.
I know Arun, Shashi Tharoor, Hardeep.
Arun was more than just a debating friendship. Arun was a day-to-day, regular. But Hardeep was a
But he was senior to you in college.
He was 2 years senior to me. He was in his third year contesting for college union president when I joined.
Okay.
So, and so there was Hardeep, who was also senior, I think even to Arun. But he was in MA or something from Hindu. So, you met all of the Shashi Tharoor we knew, Ramu we knew so many people. So that's how it was.
And the debating led to your joining the ABVP?
No. So Arun said you should contest elections. So I became a Supreme Councillor. The ABVP supported me. Vijay Goyal. We also that year campaigned for Vijay Goyal to become college union president. And unfortunately, Vijay lost that election. Then Rajat Sharma is, in a sense, a creation of Vijay and to some extent myself, in the sense that we saw him. He was a thin little kid. You couldn't have met a thinner kid. Tall, thin, came from, difficult circumstances, not rich, poor, lived together with his parents and with his father and his brothers and sisters in a small. He's really come up the hard way. He came in, Vijay spotted his talent. He was an excellent debater in Hindi. Then he was also brought into politics, and he was superb. He did very, very well. Vijay himself politically did very, very well, as you know. He almost became CM of Delhi. He became
Almost
yeah.
being the keyword.
He became a member of parliament and so on. So then I won the Supreme Councillor thing. Arun, by that time, in that particular year, contested for the vice presidency of DUSU. He wanted to become DUSU president, but the ABVP said no, and you will only be vice president. And they appointed Alok Kumar, who is now in charge of the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, I think. Alok Kumar is the DUSU president. Okay. Arun was a little sour over that, but then he accepted it, and then, next year he went on to become DUSU president. Now, what happened in those days was, when Arun contested for vice presidency, for the first time, the DU elections became a general election.
Okay.
So people say, that Arun was never a mass leader. Wrong. Because we always said in those days that winning the DUSU election was the equivalent of winning 7 members of parliament seats, because Delhi University was a microcosm of Delhi. People from all over came into the colleges and the universities.
Yeah.
So you got a representation of what the whole city was in the university itself. There were over, I think, there were 70, 80, 90,000 people. Arun won, I think, by a landslide victory of 20,000 votes or something as vice president. Then again, when he contested the next year for DUSU president, again he won by a landslide. So he had a huge amount of appeal, So people who sort of say, nah, but he was not a mass leader, they're wrong.
So that's when you had your first brush. So you just took to politics because your friend was there, or did you enjoy it?
No, you have to enjoy it, because you have to go up, you have to campaign, you have to say, I'm so and so. And Commerce College was divided into 2 people: the public school and the Banyas. Basically the Chandni Chowk boys, and then all of us Swish people. So whatever. So you had to mix with everybody. Now, because we had ABVP support, when I contested for college union president, there were 4 people in the fray. But because of the ABVP support, because of the way Vijay Goyal, Rajas worked for my election, because Arun supported, Arun was himself busy with other elections, but he also always lent his support whenever he could. Because of all that, I polled more votes than the rest of my 3 opponents combined. And also what happened was that ABVP was, I think the word is good. What is that gut of, it was a...
gut of politics.
Yeah, for Commerce College was ABVP's gut. Because they always used to win it. Sriram Khanna had won it, Arun had won it, then Vijay lost it, then I won it again. So, because of that, that was a very, very prestigious fight. Shashi Tharoor that year was the union president from Stephens. That's how we know each other also, and so on. So, obviously you have to like politics, or you have to like meeting people, you have to like being, but also one thing that, and I was just thinking the other day, maybe in life, for people who want to get further, contesting an election, it can be a small election, it can be a club election, it can be a RWA election, is important, because it forces you to mingle with other people. It forces you to get outward and expand your circle. Look, if I hadn't contested elections...
And also understand different points of view.
Yeah, but you don't... See, that's not much debated. Nobody sits and argues things for hours. Ye hota nahi hai. It's basically just... If I hadn't... Supposing I had only debated, and I hadn't contested elections, then I would have known so many less people. It's because you are going out, reaching, talking to people, they remember you, you become college union president, that you see.
So which year was this?
College union, 74, 75. At the end of it, emergency was declared. Otherwise, people say, and I genuinely believe, I was the DUSU president from ABVP for DUSU.
So then emergency, and what were the emergency days like?
Terrible. What would they be like? Why would they be
No,
good?
so what are your experiences of that time?
Horrible. So I'll tell you what happened in the emergency. See, for all of us who went through that period on the wrong side of the road, it's something that stays in people's mind. People used to say that Mao Zedong always remembered who was with him in the long march. So all of us always remember where people were, at least all of us who were active in the emergency. It was this thing. Now, how did the emergency happen? Where was I? So I'll tell you. I was in Bombay holidaying. It was 26th July. 25th night it was declared, 26th July. So
26th June.
26th June. So I picked up the phone. In those days, they had that, they're not lightning call, but they had some special STD dialing. You know, you had to, and I used to, my aunt, I was living in my Mama Masi's house. My Mama Masi never married. They had a house in Bombay. I was living with them. I'd gone for the holidays. So fat karke, Arun ke ghar dial mara. His dad picked up the phone. So I said, Arun, kahan hai, uncle? We had no idea of the emergency. He said, Arun's nickname was Kaka at home. He said, Kaka to beta university gaya. I said, uncle, kya din hai mera phone aaya tha? सुना है इंडिया में इमरजेंसी डिक्लेयर हुई है. I said, अच्छा uncle, no, I had no idea what an emergency was. We were not law students, so no idea at all. Commerce college. Then at about 1 o'clock, the afternoon paper came. So and so arrested, Attaji arrested, Moraji arrested, everybody arrested, JP arrested and all. And then I realized. Then of course we found out Arun was in jail. He'd been. So what had happened with Arun was that the cops had come at night. But his dad, being a lawyer, had sort of said, no, he's not there. And Arun from the back door had got out and gone to a friend called Kaka Bhargav. His name was Kaka Bhargav. House. Stayed the night there, went to university, gave a protest, got some people together, protested, and then went to have breakfast in what was known as the Upperwala Cafe. We used to call it the Upperwala, near the Vice Chancellor's office. And then he got arrested. I mean, this all I learned later, but that's how he got arrested. 19 months in jail. And Arun was like us, a public school guy. Xavier's, Urbane. Certainly jail was not something that had
used to
mentally even contemplated in his timetable of life. So, but I was one of the few people who used to, when I came back, so I'll tell you what happened. Then I came back to Delhi. My dad was in Bombay coincidentally. He said, no, you don't go by train, you fly with me. So he put me on the plane, we flew back. And then for the first few days, I stayed away from the university because, kya ho raha hai, idhar ek phone mara, udhar ek phone mara. Then I said, chalo, university jate hain. So I went. And you're always a little edgy because, you know that warrants are, I didn't know that there was a warrant out for me, but you know that it could happen, like that. And there when I was in the lawn of Shriram College, right in the distance, I won't take his name because he's no more, there was another student leader from the Congress party who was a well-known police informer. So,
name, if you...
No. So, and he's a friend of mine later, so I'm not getting into all that. But anyway, he saw me, we must have been about 250 feet apart, 300 feet apart. He saw me, I saw him. And just something told me, कि इधर से निकलो बेटा. Fortunately for me, I had two friends. One is dead now, Samir Mahajan, whose father was DIG Mahajan. And the other is a guy called Anil Arora. Anil Arora, they were all from Columbus and now in Shriram College. His father was the additional district magistrate. But more important, his uncle was Jagjeevan Ram's PA. So they told him, I said, Chal yaar, can you give me a come in our car. And I expressed my apprehension. I said, don't worry, both of you take our numbers down. Kuch bhi ho, phone kar, we'll handle it. Achha. So, you felt good.
College ki dosti.
School. So I went to Connaught. They dropped me to Connaught Place. There I bumped into Shriram Khanna. Shriram Khanna, as you know, was the college union president and DUSU president earlier. When did you come back from Delhi, Bombay? I said, I came 3-4 days ago. You do one thing, why don't you go back to Bombay? I said, Lagta hai aisa? Better. So I didn't go back, but what I did is I then went what they call underground.
Okay.
So I basically went to he's a very close friend of mine, Manu Chadha. He runs TR Chadha and Company. So I went to Manu Chadha's house and he was staying in Janpath in those days. And every day for 7 days, we used to go swimming at Claridge's. And Ram Khanna told me
this is called being underground.
So, and
going for swimming to Claridge's.
That's what I'm saying. And Ram Khanna told me, he said, see, don't worry about walking on the road. The cops can't recognize you. They don't know your face. वो तो तू भूल जा. because you always think everybody is looking at you. It is like that, life is like that.
Yeah.
And especially you're young and you're inexperienced. So anyway, that is not going to happen. But you, don't worry about that. But he said, don't spend the night at home. So first underground went, scratches swimming, deep hall mein, milkshake, sham ko peena, hi. After a week, back home. But I still took the caution of spending the night at the neighbor's place. Mrs. Taneja was there. I took the caution. In those days, I had just bought a motorbike and I was just learning to drive. And suddenly, my driver came zipping up and said, "Ma'am sahab ghar bol rahe hain." Reached home. My mom was in tears and packing my bags. I said, "What happened? What happened?" So we had shifted to our Saket house, which is D46 Saket, just about 7 months back. When the cops had gone to get my address, C.B. Gupta had given them my old address. He had not given the new address. So they went to our defense colony house. In that house, which was a tenanted place for us also, the new branch manager of Grindwell Norton was staying. So he said, no, I don't know where they are. I don't know where the Karanjawalas have gone. I have no idea. And then he sent a peon on the bike to cycle down to Saket and tell us, "Ke boss, ye hua." So then I was packed up. Now, we were in a panic.
So the warrants were out for you?
Yeah, the warrant was out. So we were all in a bit of a panic. Ab kya kare? So anyway, we took it. My uncle, who's in the Navy, and one thing I'll tell you, in those days, Bombay was like an oasis away from Delhi. In the sense that Bombay, it was a free. I still remember seeing Soli Sorabi make a strident speech against the emergency in Bombay. Bombay was much more free as a place mentally than Delhi was at that point of time. My uncle was in the Navy, my dad's younger brother. He said, "What rubbish, you come and stay with us, let us see you get touch you." So fat karke hum jaake apne. So I stayed there for 3-4 months, then slowly the warrant dissolved, then I came back. I came back to attend a friend's wedding, Rakesh Jain, who is no more today unfortunately, but at that time I came back for that wedding. And what then used to happen was that I would go and meet Arun when he would come to the court. Arun had
You weren't scared? Your parents didn't tell you that warrant nikla hua and you're going?
Pata nahi, whether we were scared or not, I don't know. But I mean, see, I don't remember my parents telling me that no, don't, what a nonsense, stay away. No, I don't remember my parents telling me at all. You may have been a little apprehensive when you went, but 4 months had passed and things had calmed down, and I was told that the warrant is sort of dissolved or not active or whatever it was. And I used to see Arun in those days. We used to go. He had, as a student leader, got involved in some stone throwing case at Odeon Cinema. So he used to be called, when he was called to the courtroom, his parents would come, his dad was a lawyer, his parents would come, sisters would come, and I would be there. And that's how, we kept in touch. And Arun was, I must say, very brave. I've got somewhere, Manik has lost it, I don't know, somewhere in our Noida house, but I've got all his correspondence with me from jail.
Chittiyan likhte the?
Yeah, we used to write to each other, and Arun was saying, "I've just read this Shamsher Singh's case, and it's like this and this and that. And now it's high time you also came back and gave Satyagraha." And वो तो हम तो दूर ही रहे उससे.
So you were not tempted to become a full-time politician?
No, I was not tempted to go to jail. Let's be clear. But having said that, Rajat gave Satyagraha twice. Vijay Goyal gave it. Second time round, Vijay Goyal said, "मुझे रजत अकेले जेल में नहीं जाना, तो मेरे साथ आओ." So Rajat again went. So I mean, there were a lot of people who gave Satyagraha, and all of us, there's a certain camaraderie of people who were on the wrong side of the law in those days. So that was the emergency.
And then, how did law happen to you?
So now, as I told you, 75, the emergency comes. Now in Commerce College, I was good in everything except studies. So what used to happen was that, see, Commerce College had, not that I'm bragging, but Commerce College had 5 gold medals that they gave out. The Dhaniram English for Best Debater in English, the Dhaniram Hindi, the Hora Medal which went for Outstanding Leadership and Organizational Ability, the Principal's Medal which went to the College Union President, and the Madan Mohan Medal which went for acting. That went to Gulshan Grover that year. But anyway, so those 5 medals, I technically won 3 of them. I won the Dhaniram English, I won the Hora. The Principal Medal was mine because I was the College Union President, nobody else could get it. But C.B. Gupta that year didn't allot it because he had felt that, one guy getting 3 medals out of 5 is a little overdone. So That's fine. I got 2 and that was it. But I also got, and in those days, I think, if I'm correct, it was an aggregation of your 3 years. I got a nice 3rd division and a pretty low one at that.
Nice 3rd division.
A pretty low one. It was not.
You're proud about that?
I'm not, but I mean, it's what it was, and it is what it is. So, kya kare? So, I wanted to do either MBA or chartered accountancy. Thank God, in a sense. In a sense, it's all fate, according to me. So, I said, yaar, boss, aisa karte hain. I'll repeat. So, I repeated a year. Yeah.
You could do that?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, I mean, in any case, 4 months I'd been in Bombay. I mean, I got my attendance. I said, nahi, I'll get. So, I applied and I said, I'll repeat a year. So, I repeated a year. And I pulled up my ranking, but I still missed the second div by 1 mark.
1 mark?
1 mark. And the second thing that happened was, I could still do law, but the second thing that happened was that year, Delhi University also had a cutoff of 50. So 50%. I couldn't do, yeah, so I couldn't do law in Delhi. Of course, MBA and CA were out of the window. So, ab kya kare? So, government law was there. Now, government law, my friend Anif Sadeh and Mukul, who I didn't know at that time, had already gone. For the same reasons that I went.
For the same reasons?
Third divisions. So, they were also there already.
3rd divisions?
Yeah. So, anyway, so
it was a troika of 3rd division?
No, in a sense. So, anyway, then what happened was that because I had a lot of extracurricular and because I knew the Narimans well, I knew Fali well, I knew, because of Rohinton Nariman, who I had met in Sri Ram College and was a very close friend of mine. I knew Fali and Bepsi and everybody well. I mean, I used to eat at their house more often than I ate at my own house at night. So, Rohinton said, no, you go to Bombay and you meet daddy there and he'll sort it out your admission. So, I went. Fali used to always stay at the Oberoi, a particular suite. So, I went over. Bepsi was there. More than Fali, it was Bepsi. And Rafiq Dada, who was a very well-known lawyer and was teaching in government law in those days. So, Bepsi just collared Rafiq and said, no, you have to get him. He's very good, he's a very good boy, he's a very good friend of Rohinton. You have to. Rafiq said, yeah, I'll do something. And I got admission.
Oh.
So, I got
it. It was okay in those days to get it.
On extracurricular, I merited it. There was no doubt about it. So, I mean, straight in.
And 1 mark, yeah.
And no, Bombay didn't have 50 as a cutoff.
Okay.
Bombay had any, so I got admission in government law. There, I got in touch, I hit upon Anif Sadeh, who we call Tony Sadeh. Tony Sadeh was my school cum college mate. From 10th standard school, we were together. So, I hit upon him and he was there. And, hey, what are you doing? He was 1 year senior by then. And he was already very close friends with Mukul, who was the other guy from Delhi, Mukul Rohgi. So, then all 3 of us became friends and we became such close friends that in those days, on an average, I think 5 to 6 times a week in the evening we were together. Not necessarily having dinner together, but chalo idhar ghum rahe. Mukul had a car. You see, Mukul he lived with his mama Masi, I lived with my mama Masi. And he lived with his mama, not his Masi. I lived with my mama Masi because neither of them got married, so they lived together. So anyway, Mukul had a car. He would zoom down and bring his car from Altamont Road. He lived exactly opposite where Mukesh lives now. And
Mukesh as in
Ambani, yeah. So shoo karke ek gaadi aati thi, and we used to jump in and then we used to go here or there or coffee or something. It was my first year of Commerce College and second and third year also, and my years of government law were among the happiest. Because we just, we were together, we had good friends. Delhi boys had a bonding with each other. That's how it was.
And these evening outs were about what?
Coffee. Chalo, let's go here. Or sometimes you were dating girls and you got somebody, then you chased somebody, then you didn't chase somebody.
So you dated a lot of girls?
I didn't date a lot of girls. I don't remember all that.
You don't remember?
No, actually, I had a girlfriend in my at a particular 77 onwards.
I had a steady girlfriend.
I had a very steady girlfriend who I was going to marry.
So
and then I came to Delhi and I met Manik and I married her.
And the rest, as they say. Okay, so then GLC, you did your law there and then you came to Delhi.
So we were like 3 musketeers. The 3 of us. We were just that close. And
right side of the law or wrong side of the law?
No, we were always on the right side of the law. We were always...
Masti.
but we were always good
But
boys.
you know, you're telling me that you can make it in life despite not doing so well in
So
studies.
I'll give you one example. Mukul will kill me, but I still give it to you.
Okay.
So we used to sit.
Disclaimer: Mukul Rohatgi became the Attorney General
No,
of
he was
India.
the
Went
Sonona.
on.
So we used to sit at the Oberoi, and the Oberoi had where now the shopping gallery is. There used to be an Oberoi coffee at the Bombay Oberoi. There was a coffee shop, so we used to often go there, sit, have coffee in the evenings. And I still remember this, almost as if it was yesterday when we had this conversation. I said, once we go back and we do law and all, after 6-7 months, if we earn about $2,000 a day, it'll be $2,000 a month. It'll be very good. And he said, so I was telling him the other day. I said, "Yeah, Mukul, do you remember those days when we used to talk of earning 2,000 rupees a month, and we thought we'd be very happy? And today I am told you're charging 1 crore for going out of town." Now, I mean, look, there is no doubt that Mukul professionally as a counsel is at the top of his game. But he wasn't a brilliant student.
So he's at the top of his game as a leading counsel. You're at the top of
I don't say
your
I
game.
am, but I mean, people may say
Okay,
so.
your
But
firm, you're leading a firm. Your firm
yeah,
is
we
the
are okay.
top of the game
God is very kind. Yeah.
in the litigation field. And
Rajiv Nair, he also did very well. All of us.
so how did this nickname of uncle come about?
I think Arun gave it to me.
Come.
So what happened? So 3 of us came to back here. Now, Anif Sajde was working in Khaitan and Company, as was Rajiv Nair. So that is where they bonded, and then Rajiv was inducted into the group. And because Arun was a friend of mine, Arun then became. So there were 5 of us. There was we called ourselves from the 3 musketeers, we became the Panch Pandavas.
Okay.
But we also had a Draupadi. In the sense that, I mean, in a sweet way, there was a very close friend of ours called Beena Gupta, who also used to be with us and every Saturday. We used to, we had made Saturday lunch which still is with us, for those of us who are around, a very regular ritual. Even today, if Mukul, Rajiv and I are in town, then our lunch is reserved for each other on Saturdays. Saturday lunch, we all have it. Those days, all 5 of us used to be there, and Beena used to join us also. And sometimes the wives also came. So that is how it was. So that's how the group also stayed so thick and so close,
So how did the name Uncle come about? Why are you being called Uncle?
So Arun said, he's uncle, uncle ho bhaiya. They always felt that I was a little more savvy than the rest of them. That's what Arun always.
The big picture man.
I don't know. He's uncle ki ek baat hai. He'll say something today, we'll all laugh, but 2 saal ke baad theek nikalti hai. I mean, it's a way of talking, but that's how it was.
So this name came when you were in college or just after college?
Law.
After.
And recent, I mean, say 15-20 years ago. I mean, 15-20 years in the law. Uncle, mage lagao. Let's all sit and Arun was always, how fond Arun was. You've known him well. How fond Arun was of having people around and gappe shappe and samosa, that kind of thing.
So this. Do friendships last actually?
With us it did. That's it did. I was just thinking the other day, it's a strange thing to say, but I was just thinking the other day, you take anybody in our group, anybody, and you say, supposing God were to come and say, okay, I'm putting you all back in time and you have a choice, you get 100 crores or you get to have a friendship with Arun. What do you choose? Everyone in our group would say Arun. Because it was just that kind of, it was just a fantastic relationship. The affection that you get from close friends,
sometimes
there's no substitute for it.
It's more than family, many people say. As in larger family, not your immediate...
obviously.
Yeah, relatives.
As they say, in Punjabi, my friend Pappu had one said, it was in Punjabi, I still don't have
Pappu is such a Punjabi name, na?
He was Rohit Bal Bora. He was a political liaison. He was a political liaison for Star TV. So, but we used to call him Pappu Kana. That was his nickname because he was cockeyed. So he had said once in Punjabi, he said, the person you meet every day is your brother. The well belongs to the person who takes water from it. So, that's how it is.
I mean, Pappu Kana.
Yeah, that was
because
his nickname. He was in college union politics, He was in student politics. Yeah. That was
so
his nickname.
these names were given by you guys?
No. Pappu Khanna
pehle
was,
se
his,
tha,
was
somebody
his
else.
name when we first got introduced to it.
So when you started, after you started working in Bombay and...
No, so when I went to Bombay during the emergency for 4 months, my uncle couldn't bear to see me. My uncle meaning my mama. My chacha was very happy with it, but my uncle, my mama couldn't bear to see me just doing nothing. Indolent, just taking money and going here, having a Frankie, walking to Breach Candy with my cousin and all. So he said, and halfway through then I started staying with them. So he said, I've talked to Madhubhai Tijoriwala, you're going to join him tomorrow. Madhubhai Tijoriwala was a solicitor firm. So 4 months I apprenticed or interned, what you call it, with him. And it was sort of, I saw Bombay High Court in its glory. I saw Ram Jethmalani. Yeah. This is the year 75. I saw Justice Bharucha, Sam Bharucha, when he was a lawyer. And I was interning with another person in that firm called Virag Tulsapurkar, Justice Tulsapurkar's son. So I still remember him looking at Sam Bharucha and said, that's Sam Bharucha, stylo. Because Sam was very, into this thing. So we saw the Bombay High Court as an intern in those days. Then I came back. Then the question was, who do I join? So as always, I went to my sort of legal godfather, Pali Nariman. So Nariman said, you join Dadaji, Jimmy Dadaji. Fine. So he called Jimmy and he said, well, you should take Raian. And Jimmy said, oh. Then Rohinton called Jimmy. I said, no, Jimmy uncle is a very close friend of mine. He's a very nice boy. You must take him. Yeah, I will. Then Jimmy flew off to Italy. Then he came back. Then again we talked. Then Jimmy flew off to America. Then he came back. Then Jimmy flew off somewhere else. So I was in limbo and I think Fari was getting a little irritable. So Fari told me, listen, I have decided you join Praveen Parekh. I have spoken to him. So on 8th August, which is my brother's birthday, I trooped across and met Praveen Bhai. And Praveen was one of the busiest advocates on record of the Supreme Court at that time. So he just said, you join from tomorrow. You work when I work. I work 7 days a week.
Oh God.
But those days it was like that. And those days there was no...
So what happened to the evening coffees then?
No, I mean, you worked, you finished, and you went for... So when we used to work, I had already become a lawyer, so we used to finish work. Then I would go straight from office to Rohinton's house, have dinner there. Then we'd jump into his car and all of us would go to Machan for coffee, where Arun, Mukul and all would join very often, and coffee chale. And then Rohinton would drop me home at night. He lived in House Car Sinclair, I lived at Sake. He had the car, so he dropped me home, and then that's it.
So these days that you were building your career, and then so how long did you work?
I was not building a career. Those days in Praveen Parekh's, I was learning. If I've ever really worked hard, it is when I was in Praveen Parekh. Because it was the busiest firm. I still remember the summer of 1980. The Supreme Court, 1 week before it closed, declared a miscellaneous week. So every day there were miscellaneous matters. Every day, each of us had 3 to 4 matters which we had to read and be ready and brief counsel. It was that crazy. The pressure of work was intense. So if I got a good training, it was because of that. Because we worked with the best lawyers that there were in the country. Because Praveen had that work.
How do you compare the kind of legal practice that you had then, or the kind of the legal atmosphere, let's say, Supreme Court, Bombay, Delhi, how were these different from what they are today?
Everything's changed. See, first of all, contrast Bombay and Delhi. When I first shifted in 79, my aunt had we had another flat in Bombay, so opposite East and West Court. So I could have even stayed there. And my aunt said, my Masi, they didn't have kids. So they said, why don't you stay on? And Bombay was the legal capital at that time. Everybody, top lawyers were all Bombay. Even in Delhi, the top lawyers were from Bombay. So I was in two minds, but then I said, no, I'll go home to my home and my parents. That was the best, that was among the best decisions of my life. You see, the first decision, going to Bombay for law, was by fate. I had no choice, I had to go. That was a fantastic decision because I got that Bombay opening that Bombay, network, which later on came in very good stead to me in the profession. And Bombay also gave you a different culture. So that was one very good decision. The second one was shifting, because Delhi just exploded in terms of legal work and Bombay just withered away.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe just Delhi just grew and grew. It just became bigger and bigger.
So, caliber of lawyers and senior counsels then and now, how do you compare?
I think any day the older people were better, by far. Because those days everybody worked like, see, what makes a lawyer of a very high caliber? One is internal. You work, secondly, there's an external thing. You need to be very good because the judges are very good. See, the judges those days were brilliant. There aren't that many brilliant judges today. They think they are, but I don't think so. You saw those days, you had Bhagwati, you had Chandrachud, you had Chinnappa, you had D.A. Desai. You may agree with their ideology, you may disagree with their ideology, but they were all outstanding judges. Yeah? They were people, the highest level of the profession had taken to judgeship. It's not the same today. You won't have a top guy. You won't have when Rajiv Nair was offered judgeship, he didn't take it.
Why?
Why would he take it? Yeah, he's minting money. Why the hell is he going to sit in the judge and get into the politics of the judges? Why would he? He said no. His uncle was Rajendra Sachar, Chief Justice Sachar was his uncle. He was very angry with him. His dad was angry with him. But he said no. His wife was happy. But, but that's how it is.
So, we're talking about the legal profession and how, in a lot of ways, things have diluted as times have gone by. And when did Manik happen? That chapter of life?
So, 79 I came back. As I told you, I had a friend earlier. And then Manik I met. She was in Praveen Parekh. And earlier to that also I met her. And then slowly as we started getting to know each other better, we liked each other more. And then this.
What happened to all those string of girlfriends that
There was no string of girlfriends. There was one steady girlfriend. She's still a very good friend. Our families are very close friends to each other. I'm not taking any name, but our families are very close friends to each other. So much so that when I went into, I had a cancer in 2001.
You're a cancer survivor?
Yeah, I'm not a cancer survivor, but I had a tumor in my kidney. I had an operation. It was out, and I've never had to look back. I never took chemo.
That's true.
Yeah. Let's grab the wood. I never took chemo. I never took anything. It just, and I had the best doctors, Farooq Udwadia, Praful Desai. So,
for whom you appeared in the
Praful, yeah.
You went.
Yeah. So, Farooq was a consultant, Praful was a surgeon. Praful is the number one if you go back few decades, he was head of Tata Memorial. He's just an outstanding doctor. And Farooq is another genius. Farooq was a man who saved Amitabh's life, Bachchan's. So Farooq is an absolute genius. So I still remember when I went to Bombay for the operation in Breach Candy, I landed from the airport, we went to Nasri's house. And I still remember what Maureen Wadia said, because she runs hospitals and all. She said only one thing: between Farooq Udwadia and Praful Desai, there will be no mistakes. So that's how it was.
And
so what I was telling you was that when I told, the thing with Parsis, I just got to know suddenly when I went for a checkup that I had a tumor. Now the thing with us Parsis is, first we have to tuck up parents into hospital and then break the news to them. It was a very, very small nuclear family. My kids were very small. My parents were a little old. And then I told my parents, then I went and told Arun. Then, of course, I told everybody. I don't hide these things. And that's one of the best things I did. Because, when you talk to a lot of people, you get a lot of solace. Because somebody said, oh, but my aunt gave a kidney. Pinaki came to my house and said, are you mad? People donate kidneys. Don't be stupid yet. Just like that. So, you get confidence. So, all my friends, every one of them. Mukul, Shukul, and I told them it was a Friday. Arun also said, if there's a cabinet meeting, I don't know, but otherwise I'll come. So all of them flew down. And the whole, there were 20 people in the, Ruby, everybody, my partners, everybody, 20 people in the thing. But when I was being wheeled in, As Arun always pointed out, but I had forgotten, but Arun said, "Uncle, ये तो सिर्फ तुम ही कर सकते हो." My wife was on one side and my former girlfriend was on the other. With me.
So another uncle
No,
handling.
so we've been very
But
lucky.
you're blessed with this.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
We've been-
you are friends with Mukesh Ambani and Gautam Adani.
Yeah, but that's not that's okay. The blessing is having
Wife
close
and
friends.
girlfriend
No, the blessing
is more
is
challenging.
having close friends. I mean, neither Mukesh nor Gautam are close friends. But the blessing is having a lot of close friends who like you, are affectionate to you, tolerate your eccentricities, and are still a very good people.
What is the most eccentric thing about you?
I mean, generally, you ask my wife.
Well, earlier also, when we started the conversation, you said, I have a few quirks. What are your quirks?
I mean, I've got passive eccentricity, you know, stubborn, this, that, etc.
But you get along with everybody.
Yeah,
Stubborn
that's
people
true.
don't.
I'm not stubborn in a cussed way.
What are you stubborn about?
There's general things there, a lot of things. I mean, I can be pretty this thing, but I mean, I'm a likable person. I can frankly say that.
Yes, that you are.
Yeah.
So how do you manage this? Wife, girlfriend?
No, I don't manage them. They are friends.
No, but Mukesh Ambani, Gautam Adani, how do you balance these?
I don't have to balance. I'm friendly with you, I'm friendly with him.
There are two compartments.
Yeah, I'm in my own camp. You want to be friendly?
मैं अपनी सबसे ज़्यादा favorite हूँ.
No, I'm always in my own camp. I'm never in anyone's camp. You know, like Fali Soli. Forget Gautam and Mukesh. Fali Soli were the two antagonistic legal setups of the Supreme Court. If you were Fali, most people here or over there. My father-in-law was very close to Soli. I had grown up in the Nariman household. Manik was close to Soli. I briefed Soli and Fali equally, whenever they were available and whenever I wanted to. But I never hid it. I'm friendly with you, I'm friendly with them. That's it.
Keep no secrets, make no preference.
I don't have to get into your house to get secrets from you to give it to the other side. I don't do idhar ki udhar. So that's it.
So your relationship with Ratan Tata, how did that happen? And
So it
was that a
started-
Parsi friendship?
Not at all. So it started for a professional reason. So what happened was, I was very close to Nasli.
Nasli Wadia.
Yeah, Nasli was a friend, and Nasli in those days was very close to Ratan. So the Tata Tea Ulfa case happened. Okay. And Nasli said, okay, told Ratan, no, I'll get a good team in, don't worry. And so he involved me. And then for that case, we had Ram, we had Arun, we had Mahesh Jethmalani, and we had me. And the case was in Assam, and we used to go, and there was a friend of ours called Hazarika. I don't know if you remember, Upamanyu Hazarika. So because he was an Assamese, he used to go, we used to all go up and down. The Tata plane was available. That's how I first met Ratan, you know. And it started as a professional relationship, then transgressed into a personal relationship. But if I were to describe that relationship, I'd put it in three parts. My relationship on a personal note with Ratan was, in the early days, had some ebbs and flows. Later on, we became closer, and I'll give you the reason why. But professionally, it always stayed good. See, I think for him, I was his lucky general, in the sense that he had 4 cases which he was personally involved in or sensitive to, and I won all 4 for them. So the first one was Tata Tea Ulfa, where they wanted to implicate Krishna Kumar and arrest him, and we fought that case out, and we meaning Ram basically, and Arun and all fought it out. I was on record, so we fought it out and we won. So there was some level of,
Trust.
Well, some level of confidence that, yeah, he can handle matters. Second important case for Ratan was the banning of diesel cars in the NCR, which case started somewhere in the year 97, 98. Now, what you have to remember, Ratan had, 2000, I forget which, Ratan had just launched the Indica.
Yes.
And the Indica, it's an indigenous car, and the Indica was a diesel car. So and now what happened was, the Supreme Court had a committee. MC Mehta case, they had appointed a committee. Khattar, he became a friend of mine, unfortunately, no more, who was the head of Maruti,
yes,
was on that committee. So in Tata's, there was all kinds of speculation and panic. Oh my God, oh my God,
Competitor.
Yeah. So we took Nariman. And over there, we were able to get an exceptional order. I mean, I must say that was one of the most brilliant pieces of advocacy Nariman did, because he just went straight and said, okay, we are Euro 2 compliant, or Euro 1, whatever it was. We are Euro 1 compliant. So, but Maruti is not. The Maruti 800 is not. Your Lordship, I mean, people should not, one brush, everything with one brush. So, Chief Justice Anand, who was the presiding judge, said, no, of course. So, only Euro 1, even a diesel car, as long as it's Euro 1 compliant, can function in the NCR, but there will be no non-Euro 1 compliant cars which can be sold in the NCR. And for 6 months, Maruti couldn't be sold. So, इसको कहते हैं ना in Hindi जैसे लेने के देने. That's what happened to the other side, in the sense that, so we had an outstanding order. So then again there was a level of confidence, and then you become closer. Third, Dilip Pense. See, Dilip Pense was a very personalized matter for Ratan, because he had trusted Dilip. Dilip had betrayed his trust. Dilip had siphoned off money, and a large amount. Ratan had gone and said that the Tatas will be responsible for every piece of money that has been siphoned off. No shareholder of Tata Finance has to worry, and so on and so forth. But he was very angry. Dilip, I think, was well connected. So somehow in Bombay, they were not able to get him arrested. They were filing cases, nothing was happening. And Ratan then told them that, why don't you try Raian out? He's always been good for he's been good for us. So try him out. So they involved me. At that time, we took one case, which was in Delhi, where small, he committed a fraud of some 4 or 5 crores. I mean, nothing great by his standards. Neera Radia was also working for the Tatas in those days. So anyway, and then we took Ram. Pense tried his best to get the case transferred. We went to Bombay High Court, fought, got it knocked out. Then the case came to Delhi, and he got arrested. And then he stayed in jail for almost 8 months, at quite a stay. So that was the other case which was very important to Ratan. So then, and of course, the fourth case was Tata Mystery. And
that was a battle of the titans.
Well, yes, yeah. But even if I say so myself, in that, there's this Chinese military strategist who people always like to quote, Sun Tzu, I think is his name, who says the battle is won before it is fought. Now, even if I say so myself, in that case, we won the battle before it was fought for this reason, that Cyrus got sacked on a particular day in, I think, July or August, I forget, in the year 2016, on a particular day in 2016. My friend Melly Mistry, who was a friend of mine, called me up and said, "It's a sack thai gyo," like that in Gujarati. He got sacked. So I called up Ratan. I said, "Oh, congratulations." He said, "Oh, news travels fast to Delhi." I said, "No, it's in the paper. It's on the ET website or whatever." So I said, "Well, Ratan, we'll have to, I think, retain." Yes, of course, we'll have to retain counsel. So I spoke to Venkat. And in 48 hours, because we're in the thick of practice and we know who the top counsels are, and there were about 15, 20 of them, we had retained every counsel on our side. So Cyrus went to court a month and a half, I think a month and a half later. By the time he went to court, there was no one available for him. So we really sort of crippled him before he could.
That's the strategy.
I don't know. It's actually more than a strategy. It's Ratan's checkbook. I mean, it was a powerful checkbook. And Ratan, once he fought, went all in. Then there was no looking back here, there, kitna paisa kyun. There's no.
Then it's a fight to the finish.
Absolutely. And usually the other side finished. I mean, so that is it. So that was his professional relationship with me. That always stayed good. Personal relationship had its ebbs and flows for this reason. As I told you, I was introduced to the group through Nasli. But that was somewhere in 96. By 98, 99, Nasli's relationship with Ratan had started souring and distancing. And there was a little bit of a fallout, I think, for me. He won't say it, but you can sense sometimes. What partially compensated was that I was a very close friend of Melli, still am, of Melli Mistry. So Mella Mistry would have my back as far as Ratan was concerned. So if Ratan made some little snide thing, Mella would immediately. And I remember he once tipped me off. There was a case where Ratan wanted to file a case against Kumar Birla. They had some bad fallout and a lot of bitterness and all. And he asked my opinion, and I said, nothing. And then he went to Pallavi also, who gave a positive opinion. Harish also gave a positive. Anyway, I said, there's nothing much in that case. So Melli called me up. I said, well, why are you going on, yeah? What are you giving Gyan for? He wants to file the case. Let him file, yeah. Tu chup kar li. You do the matter. So, those little tip-offs kept the thing on an even keel on a personal note. Now, when Cyrus became, in a very strange way, Cyrus's wife Rohika was always a friend of mine. Was a good friend of mine. Tolerable. No.
It's the Raian Karanjawala street.
We had a group, we had a gang, so tolerably
How
good
many
friend.
gangs do you run?
I mean, I don't run any, but I have a lot of, I have different, circles of friendships. So she was a friend of mine through Devanshi and this one and that one and all that. So, but somehow Cyrus and I, maybe because of my friendship with Melli, never really hit it off. And, he'd sent one or two messages that, you should. And I said, nothing doing. I'm not going to distance. I don't lose friendship because of work. That's not me. So, December 2015, Ratan and I bumped into each other. And he said, well, Ryan, I've not met you for a while. I said, Tame bulao, you call us. So, he called me for lunch. We went. So, that time, in that course of conversation, it became evident to him that Cyrus and I were no friends. And he had already started losing faith, because 2016, middle of 2016, he sacked him. He had already started losing faith. That is after which our personal rapport deepened. Because otherwise, it was people may say, no, he's very close, but no.
It was professional.
Yeah, it was more professional, and there's a little bit of a warmth and fondness, but nothing great. It deepened after that. So that
and then when you won that case, did he say something to you that stayed with you?
So when I won that case, he called me for lunch. And not immediately after, one of those days after we'd won the case or whatever, he came over for lunch. And then I came, so what are you eating, Ratan? At his house. And
Kulaba.
Yeah. So at his house, and food was always nice, but sort of more to the bland and simple, So anyway, so what do we, then he said, and I want to just say one thing. So I said, Bolo. Said, we've always appreciated, he didn't say he said, I think we've always appreciated the advice that you've given us. We haven't always agreed with it, but we've appreciated the fact that you always gave it. So, meaning, you've always been straightforward, honest in what and you've always told it to us straight. So that is
not trying to dress it up and please.
I never do.
You never do.
Neither does my office. It's a rule with us. In fact, sometimes as far as my criminal team is concerned, I'm always joking with them that you'll have to have an ambulance parked outside because they give it so blunt that the poor chap is in. Yeah. No, we that's one thing that I try to keep is the ethicality of advice. You give advice which is good for the client, not which is good for you. You don't instigate him to do 5 cases when he doesn't need to. There is a certain thing.
Ethics.
It's just a way of working.
But it is ethics. Is ethics a word that is used these days?
I'm sure it is, but to be honest it's less in vogue than it used to be. But I have a very clear belief, I may be wrong, but I have a very clear belief that you will never rise beyond a point if you're unethical. Somehow the system catches up. The judges catch up, the clients catch up. Once you've got a bad image, you're not going to
be able to fix it.
Yeah.
So, Ratan Tata, you said, do you know Noel Tata? Is it?
Yeah, I do.
And there is also a battle within the Tatas.
There is.
And where do you think that is going?
My sense is that, well, first let me give you what I think. You see, I think if you study the history of the Tatas, you will find that the group was at its best when it was run by a Tata. whether it was JRD or whether it was Ratan. I think those were the real golden periods. And according to me, there is a deeper reason for it, you know. And the deeper reason is that the Tatas as a group marches to the tune of a different drummer. It's not a normal commercial, only commercial kind of company. They're not. They have a certain legacy. I don't want to overemphasize.
Ethos.
Yeah, they have an ethos, they have a legacy. And that is best understood, appreciated, and carried forward by people who've been brought up and grown in that legacy. You know, it's let me give you an example. The British royal family. If you took someone from outside and planted him as king, it won't function. Because these are situations which have come up in a particular way. They have certain internal rules, unstated rules, stated rules, and so on and so forth. It's very difficult for outsiders to adjust. You know, the Tatas has a certain ethos which is best run by members of that family who have seen that ethos. You know, somehow I just feel that the group does best at that time. And certainly the JRD era and the Ratan era were very good eras for them.
You've also advised the Adanis a lot.
I've not advised the Adanis a lot. My firm does work for them.
Okay. Is there a personal rapport with the clients that your firm does work with? How would you describe Mr. Gautam Adani?
Humble, very easy to get along with. No ego. Or if he has it, it's suppressed. He's easy, he's accessible. You send him a message, it comes back. At least I send him a message, it comes.
But then, you're
No.
You're his lawyer.
I'm not his lawyer. No.
Okay.
If anyone is his lawyer, it is Cyril Shroff, whose is also something. No, I'm not his lawyer, but my firm does work for them. We do a fair amount, but that's okay. But it's not that he's sitting with me and talking crucial things. Oh, he's accessible, he's affable. Obviously, he has the ability to handle a lot of work. And obviously, he's at the moment very well connected. That's an obvious point.
And Mukesh Ambani? If you were to compare their styles?
So, I think one drawback that Gautam has, which is that he has an obsession for Ahmedabad. You know, he believes that, you know, Ahmedabad is a place for the whole family to function out of. That's what he, because, you know, under mom and dad's watchful eye, you know, Gautam is a very, as he himself told me, he said, "Aapne to back come. We do two things. You'll either see me in office or family." He's not a very social person. I mean, as he said, if I have to go somewhere, I'll go. But just go and go away. He's not a, you know, he's not a gappo, shappo, he's not trying to contest CII elections and this election, that. No. Work or family. And, but the problem is that he has his roots and he wants to deepen his roots in Ahmedabad. And Ahmedabad, at the end of the day, is a Mofussil town. You know, Mukesh, all said and done, whatever you say about them, they're international. Mukesh can sit on the high table. It's almost anyone internationally. So, that ability to attract foreign capital, I think, you know.
But are you saying
would be more with
people
Mukesh.
who stick to the roots cannot make it big?
No, now if you stick to a route supposing I was a great lawyer, but I only practiced in a village in some state of India, you know, how great could I be? I mean, what is the difference? It's only when you're in Delhi that you get that whole thing.
But then you can travel everywhere.
No, so then you're not stuck there. Nah? That's what of course you can travel everywhere. But what I'm trying to say is that, you know, for example, even talent, you can't necessarily attract the best talent if you're going to ask the guy to come and live in Ahmedabad. It's a
Did you say this to
no.
Gautam?
He didn't ask my opinion. I didn't say, we were chit chatting, but he didn't ask my opinion. Oh, what should I do now, Ryan? Do point out to me all the defects that I have. I mean, that wasn't the conversation. So, but
that's how you see the big picture.
That's how I see.
That's the major difference.
And Ambani's, I watched the Ambani's much more closely because we were on the other side of the fence when we were appearing for Nestle in all the cases against them and all. I watched the Ambani.
And yet you're friends.
So we became friends, I think, really because of Shobna's son's marriage to his niece. That's when I think Mukesh and I started first interacting, and then by then...
Shobna, as in Shobna Bhartia.
Correct. Shamit married...
Who's again a very close friend of mine.
Yeah, she's a very close friend of mine. That's a fact. So anyway, what I'm saying is that, Shobna's son's marriage to Mukesh's niece and Ani's niece, was Sham Kothari's daughter, was Sham and Nina, was what I think started the ball rolling. Then, we're chatty people, we talk. So we meet once in a while, not crazily, but once in a while we meet, we chat, we're friends.
But it's also said that you don't allow work to spoil your friendships. You won't accept a case against any of the friends you have, like Reliance.
No, so that's a yes and no answer. Yes, partly. So there is a well-known case in which I didn't take the case. I'll tell you. Now today, supposing somebody files a case against Reliance and they have to recover, say, 10 lakh from them. I can do the case. But it's not a very sensitive case. So there's a partner of mine who you know called Ruby Ahuja. So Ruby came to me and, they bring their own matters and whatever. So Ruby came to me and said, sir, a case hai. They didn't give us the name of who the client was. The client he's had an agreement with whatever that group was. And abhi they're trying to settle the matter, but if they don't settle it, then they have to go and say that Ambani's can't take that company over and we have to fight it out. So now what had happened is I had just been called, I think, to both Isha and Akash's wedding, and I had taken their hospitality, they'd called me everywhere, and so on and so forth. And I said to myself, now, ab itne saalon ke baad, your relationship is because you were on the other side of the fence, your relationship is an even keel or on a fairly decent note. They've called you to the wedding, they gave you that respect. Chodo. Now, I didn't know it was Amazon. To be honest, we didn't know it was Amazon. They hadn't disclosed the client at that time. I just said no. I said,
had you known it was Amazon?
I probably would have still said no. Because it gets, at that level, then it gets very personal to them. See, as I told you, now supposing somebody is saying, Reliance is chucking me out of my house and they're the landlord, I'm the tenant. I can appear for the tenant. Those are small cases. That doesn't go to that doesn't affect the other side so much. This does. So I said no. It's a call you take. It's just a call you take. How much somebody requests.
Expansion of business for the firm cannot come in the way of friendships. Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean, if it's a close friend of mine, for me, it's a yes and no answer again. For example, Ravi Ruya, I used to know them. Then when Lakshmi Mittal came to me for Asala Mittal in that fight, I took the case. Because, I also said to myself, now, how much are you going to push this cause? So, sometimes yes, sometimes no. I mean, you just take, it's an andaz. Sometimes you do it, sometimes you don't do it. There's no hard and fast rule. But it is my call. I mean, my office can't take the case and say, nahi boss, hum to karenge. That can't happen.
No, but okay, you run the firm, so it's your firm.
Yeah.
So we've spoken about some of these people. Did you completely abandon politicians after that phase? But because I know that you were friends with VP Singh and family, how did that happen?
So what happened was that after I started my own firm, somewhere in 1986-87, I was very closely still associated with Ramnath Goenka, whose case I had worked, the building demolition case I had worked for when I was in Praveen Parekh.
Okay.
Now I was in my own firm.
Emergency.
Yeah. And then I had met Nasli also and so on and so forth. We knew each other, and we were doing the cases against Reliance in those days. Nestle had used the Express, and some G series was challenged, and this was challenged, that was challenged. We were doing cases against Reliance. 1987, VP was either left or went out of the Congress, and Thakkar Natarajan, the two judges, it was called the Thakkar Natarajan Commission, which went into something called Fairfax, whether VP Singh had allowed Nasli Wadia and Vinod Pandey and all to go and hire a agency abroad to look into things here and so on and so forth. And he got what they call an 8B notice under the Commission of Inquiries Act. So he had a lawyer called Shiv Pujan Singh. So Shiv Pujan Singh had given the reply, pat, something or the other, and the Express guys, through Burelal, who they knew well, sent him a message, why are you going to Shiv Pujan Singh? Will get you a better lawyer, we'll get you Soli Sarabi. So when Burelal told him, he said, yeah, that's fine, you get me a Soli. So Arun called me and said, listen, will you organize it? So I organized it. So I met VP Singh 5 minutes before he and I walked into Soli's place for conference. Our first meeting. But again, sometimes you click with people. I clicked with him. And those days, they were heady days. 87 to 89 when he became Prime Minister. Yeah. So lots of cases and lots of fighting around, lots of this, lots of that. I was the lawyer in St. Kitts, sent a legal notice, this, that, all that was going on. I also got involved in the political side of things. Not that I was doing anything, but that's how, in the Jan Morcha days, I used to know all of them, Arun, Arif, Satpal, all of them very well. Dinesh, who's now our ambassador, all of them were friends of mine, and they were all very nice to me.
Ambassador to Bangladesh,
yeah,
Dinesh
Trivedi.
Right.
Yeah. So then what happened was that the debate was, should Jan Morcha go on its own? Arif and all believed that nahi, Raja Sahab ke naam par sare vote aa jayenge. And other people were saying that we should align, we should not align. So I sponsored and got a All India survey done. I went to a guy called Ranjit Chip, who did the survey. He's dead now. Who did the survey, and he had told me, he said,
ORG or something.
I don't know. So I forget. So he said, okay, listen, man, in India people lie. So the trick is that you have to sort of do it in such a way that from the questions you are able to cull out,
information
that you really need. So we'll have to do it intelligently. We'll go to Surjit Bhalla. Surjit Bhalla is the economist.
Yes.
So he's written about it in his book also. We'll have to go to Surjit Bhalla and he will do the whole question. So he did the whole question and all. So when I went to see Surjit Bhalla, he said, I've got good news and I've got bad news. What is the bad news? He said, we're losing. And at that age, when you got, at that age when you're so young, a lot of yourself rides on those things, So it's something I couldn't ever have contemplated. So, but the good news is, if the whole opposition combines, then he loses. So I took it to VP. Now, of course, VP being VP, studied it in great depth and detail because he was a very good mind. He was physics MA or whatever, and very, very good mind. He read everything. He had already probably got the pulse of things. So he had decided that we can't go, Jan Morcha can't go it alone. We have to go. Left was his natural ally. He had to bring the right. That is where Arun played a big role. So Arun, and in those days Govind Acharya, were the 2 point people that LK. See, you must understand, that was 1989, 88, 89, 88. Advani was in charge. It was not Atalji. Okay. LK was calling the shots at that time, and he was the sort of the thing. So he put Arun and Govind Acharya as the point people for the actual negotiation. But first you have to break the ice. So how do you do it? So in my mother's house in Saket, so there was one meeting when Advani ji came, another meeting where Murli Manohar Joshi came. Murli Manohar Joshi had been VP's professor in Allahabad University. Then another meeting, Raju Bhaiya came. And then I think 1 or 2 other meetings. And then slowly the dynamics of negotiations began. And that's how ultimately they all got together on one platform and Rajiv lost.
And Rajiv Gandhi lost that election. But then you have friends in the Congress as well.
Yeah, but so what? I mean, so what? I have friends everywhere. So what? But I mean, look, a lot of people are like that. I'll give you an example. So I didn't know Madhav Rao Scindia till the Jain Hawala case. Then, one day Shobna requested me. She said, listen, Raian, like you worked on my dad's case, Hindustan Times ka koi matter tha with Jimmy Dadachan ji. Jimmy Dadachan ji was his advocate on record. Can you work with Jimmy on my? I said, of course, yeah. And I used to adore Jimmy. So we went and worked on the case and all. Anyway, ultimately, he was let off. So over the years, Madhav and Arun were very close. Even today, when you go to Arun's house, you see a photograph of Madhav Raoji's and all. He's very, very close. How many times, how many dinners we've had together at Madhav's house, at Arun's house, Shobna's place, then Ranjan, Gunnu, so many times. I mean, people across the aisle are often good friends.
Did you get to know Advani ji
very well?
Very well.
So, I got to know him well. Then I didn't stay too much in touch with him. But in 2004, when they lost the election, on Diwali day I went with, and there are two people whose houses I always go to on Diwali personally. I mean, I used to go to Arun also, but Arun is more a friend, I don't have to go through the formality of going personally, but two people. One is Mrs. VP Singh after VP died, VP earlier, and then Mrs. VP Singh after VP died, and Advani ji. And now the last time or last two times, I don't think he can even really recognize me anymore. And Pratibha was a good friend of mine. So Pratibha would come up and say, Dadu, Raian aaya, and then something in Sindhi, and like that. Advani ji he was very fond of me.
Did you get to know Vajpayee ji?
Little bit, very little. I knew Ranjan Gunnu well. I knew Ranjan very well. I know Gunnu well. They are good friends, but Atalji not really. Not much. Like that.
And what about politics of the BJP then, when all these meetings were happening at your mother's house, and the BJP today?
It's different, no? It's palpably different. First, politics of the BJP then was the politics of homegrown politicians who'd come through the long march, in the sense that how did the BJP come up? Atalji would go make a speech, supposing he would catch a train to let's say go to Kanpur. So he catches the train, goes to Kanpur. Then what happens is 20 people come to receive him, or Advani ji or whoever. 20 people come to receive him on the platform, and all, and then he goes and stays in somebody's house. He will go and stay in somebody's house, and then I'm sure he stayed in those houses before. So I'm sure, it would be like, Atalji Atalji, as you know, was very fond of food. So, wo banaya jo aapka favorite, lovely. It was a sort of a homely politics. Today it's like a corporation. You go, you take half the hotel, fadak. You're going to campaign in West Bengal, whichever hotel you want to stay in, fadak, the hotel is yours. No outsiders. Chalo boss. Sab paunche. Like that. So it's very different. It's like working in a small company and working in a huge corporation.
But then
that's a change.
Two members of parliament to grow the party too.
That's a change. Yeah, they did well. They did well. And that tie-up with VP helped them. Fadak karke they came from 2 to,
Yeah.
So it's
everything evolves.
Yeah, it's a very different, it's a much more corporate structure today in the BJP. It's a much more cut and dry structure today in the BJP. You see, in the old days, people at that level of the BJP and this level of the BJP probably knew each other. Today, you won't get within.
But isn't that true for society as a whole?
Of course, it's a larger party. Those days a smaller party.
Society
today it's a large party.
Pehle we knew our neighbors, ab hum nahi jante.
Yeah, exactly. So that's it is a microcosm of life. It's what's happened. Things have changed here, things have changed there. But it is what it is, and it is different.
Modi, have you had interactions with him?
Not really. I've met him. I do know him a bit. And I met him, but this thing. But he's also, the one, when you ask about Modi and you say, okay, what are the differences that so there are two things. Let me just put it this way. When you met Arun for the first time, you knew that he was different. He would go far. That wasn't the obvious reaction you had when you met Modi for the first time.
When did you meet him for the first time?
For the first time, I met Modi in C.K. Birla's house when Arun had brought him there just before he went to Gujarat as CM. He was about to go to Gujarat as CM. Till then, he was working in the BJP. You have to understand one thing about Modi. And he's obviously a very quick learner because, as you know, he became a CM before he became an MLA. You know, that's the uniqueness of the man. I mean, a bit like Obama, I think, you know, the thing. So, there is that first thing about him, that when you interact with him, one thing you realize is that he has a photographic memory. That much I can tell you because I remember, I won't give you the name, but I'm introducing someone to him at this one's Sunil Alag's wedding, Sunil Alag's daughter's wedding at the Maurya. Sunil Alag had, this is early 2014, he had just become Prime Minister. And he came and I introduced Tamil, I speak in Gujarati a little. He immediately said, no, we had met you in this year at this house, straight. He has that photographic memory. So he may have a recollection of me before my recollection is of him. But my first recollection of him is at CK's house. The thing with him is that he is an exceptionally fast learner. And, you know, I'll give you an example. When he first came to Delhi as Prime Minister, he had, I think, and it's commonly known, so I can speak of it, he had delegated a lot to Arun. You know, I think Arun was sitting, I mean, he didn't take me into confidence, but some parts I knew. He was making the first cabinet in a sense. Obviously, Modi gave its final imprimatur and approved of everything, but the first rough cut draft and large suggestions were Arun's, and most of them prevailed. But that never lasts long with him. He picks up very quickly, and he's very prone to not overly delegate. Once he knows, then he does. He doesn't sort of mortgage his thinking to other people. That's one thing about him. The second difference between him and a lot of politicians is what Prashant Kishore once told me. Prashant Kishore, as you know, has worked closely with him, worked with Nitish, has worked with Mamta, has worked with others also. So I said, I was asking him one day, and I have this habit of chatting with people. So I said, what is the difference? What is the contrast? So he said, देखो एक चीज है. He said, they all work hard. They all work hard. But if Mamta is doing party work, then from morning to evening, she'll only do party work. Nitish is doing party work, morning to evening, he'll only do party. He said, Modi can switch. He'll do 2 hours of party work, then he'll switch to government work, then he'll switch back. So
multitasking.
Not multitask. What he has is Bill Clinton's ability to take a problem, deal with it, and then just keep it to the side and go to something else. So he has that great ability to live in the moment. While he's concentrating on this, he's not thinking of that. It's over. His mind in that sense is a little more evolved. That's my perception of him. I haven't worked with him, I haven't met him that well. But that is my distant perception of him from what other people say.
But tell me, when you contrast him with the other politicians that we have in the opposition, why do you think he is where he is?
So I asked Prashant Kishore this. He said there's only one person in recent, see, I think VP would still be the more consummate politician. Because what Raja Sahab had, I mean, see, you have to remember that nobody has ever left the Congress and then defeated it in a back-to-back electoral battle. Only Raja Sahab did. Nobody, Moraji, Shoraji, none of them. Nobody was chucked out of the Congress, took them on and won. And the Congress at its height, 400 seats, you know. So he certainly was an extraordinarily astute politician. What Modi ji has is, first I think he has an inbuilt advantage in dealing with the country because he's dealing with a country, a large part of whose populace is poor, and he's been that. So he doesn't have to read to understand their problems, he's lived through them. So he can relate better to the large masses of India than most people can, because most leaders don't come from such poverty. So that's, I think, one big advantage he has. He catches immediately what will affect that person. Like toilets for women, toilet for everybody, village toilets. Nobody thought of it. It was obviously something that affected a lot of people, but he was the first one. And then he won't hesitate to sort of propagate it to a level where it sort of resonates, like that. So that's his one thing. His ability to sense, Raja Sahib had it, he has it. His ability to sense what is the mood of the moment. That's one. Two, today he has the advantage of having at his back one of the biggest organizations working for him, the BJP, the cadre, new and old. Three, he has the advantage of dealing with a weakened or not that effective opposition.
But why is the opposition not so effective?
So I asked PK, I said, who would you say?
You keep talking about PK. PK himself has lost elections.
That's okay. I asked PK, but you can lose an election and you can still have a perception of what is right or wrong in politics. So he said the only politician of recent ilk who can match him, according to me, would be Lalu. Lalu's too old now. But Lalu had it also. I mean, I saw him in the younger days. Lalu had it also. CM Bihar, as BP would always say, CM Bihar is a phone lagao. So, Lalu. So, I think he's just
Rahul
lucky.
Gandhi? He talks all about the downtrodden, about the issues of Gen Z. Why do you think?
So that's the whole point. It's about you or me today going and sitting with the jhuggi jhompadi walas and sort of trying to talk to them about their problems. Will they relate to us? I don't think they will, because they don't feel we're part of them. See, the point is that when Modi talks or does things for poor people, I think they relate to him, because they feel that he was one of them. He has seen their problems. I don't think Rahul is able to do that. Rahul still has a following and will get it, because there will always be an anti-vote in every country, and as incumbency creeps up, people lose their shine. Everybody does. It's not new. But I don't think Rahul is the natural politician that the opposition requires today to be able to knock off a machine as powerful as the BJP, especially with a leader as astute as Modi at its head. The combination is...
It's not a match.
Not at the moment. I don't think at the moment.
And do you see this balance changing anytime soon?
It can always change, because don't forget, 71, Mrs. Gandhi partitioned Pakistan. She was the adoring 73, Nav Nirman, end of 73, the Nav Nirman movement started in Gujarat. 74, JP came. And she was flat. So,
one never knows.
You can never tell. And what I do see, which I was commenting to somebody the other day, these 4 assembly elections which just took place, except for Assam, where the Congress did pretty badly, every incumbent government got voted out. So that may show a sort of resentment in people which is building up.
But BJP manages to come back, and you say Congress did badly. You're not saying the BJP did well.
So, Mamta lost, and the BJP did far better than they thought they would. Nobody really thought they would get the numbers. Some people may have said it, but I don't think anybody would have. I mean, even the guys who said it, if you said, "Chala 1 crore rupee ki bet lagao," nobody would have bet 1 crore. If you know what I mean, you put your money where your mouth is, nobody would have done it. Nobody really thought they would win to the extent to which they won. So what I'm trying to tell you is that the anger of the people cannot really or easily be made out. That's the one thing. I remember I once had a conversation with Henry Kissinger. We were chit-chatting at some dinner. And he said to me, we were talking and CIA and this and that. He said, you see Iran, you see before the Shah got thrown out, you check every CIA report that came out 1 year before. Not one mentioned it. So sometimes people can't see the simmering anger. You just don't know. It could just erupt and then, wow, you're out.
But Ryan, the
77.
one case.
77. When it started, I mean, you remember Atalji's famous thing at Ramlila when he said, बड़े मुद्दत के बाद मिले हैं ये दीवाने सुनने कहने कहने सुनने को हैं बहुत से अफसाने मिलजुल को थोड़ी बात तो कर ले पहले कितनी देर के लिए रहेगी ये आज़ादी कौन जाने nobody really expected to win. And Arun told me, I remember Arun telling me that it was only when they started going into the campaign more and more that they started seeing the crowds come. In the beginning they all thought we're going to lose and we're going to go back in. It didn't happen. Nobody thought. I was there. I was campaigning for Ram. Nobody thought that Mrs. Gandhi would virtually lose every seat in North India. So you can't make out people. You should never be too complacent because they're as fickle as anything you know.
Absolutely. The one case that everybody remembers in recent times is the Raian Khan case. You've met industrialists, you've met politicians. What do you think about Shah Rukh Khan? How did you meet him?
So I met him so I'll tell you. I don't know him. I know him now, obviously, but I didn't know him. But we had done some little bit of work for him. And suddenly a friend of mine called Putlu, Kajal Anand is her name, she's a part of Shah Rukh's inner core or whatever, called me up and said, Raian, this case is going on. Who do you think we should have as a counsel in Bombay? So I said, look, as a counsel, have whoever you want. But whoever it is has to be physically present in court. He should not come on video. Whoever you go.
You meant Harish Salve?
No, or Mukul, because Mukul was also in London.
Okay.
So I said, whoever it is, physical presence. It should not be, okay, I'll do a video and all. That don't have. It's too important a matter. Shah Rukh came on the line. So I said, don't worry, Shah Rukh will handle it in this. And then I told him this also. So he said, you do one thing, you just wait till tonight, I'm trying to talk to Salve. Then obviously Salve said, I can't come down or something. And then we took Mukul. And Mukul argued 5 days. It went on. I had nothing really to do with the case. My partners went, Ruby and Ahuja and Sandeep Kapoor, and they fought it out and Mukul got them the bail. Now, the thing was, the reason why I met Shah Rukh was this, that when the case first came, I was sitting in my bedroom, my daughters were there, Tahira and Niharika, and Manik was there, and I said, chalo, achhi baat hai, we got a nice juicy case, we'll send a proper bill. So Tahira looked at me and said, Dad, you can't charge Shah Rukh Khan? So I said, I can't charge Shah Rukh Khan? No, Dad, I mean, you do so much free work and it's okay if it was not his personal case, but it's not a commercial matter, it's not a personal case. They'd grown up with...
Yeah,
so
everybody loves Shah Rukh Khan.
Yeah. So anyway, so I said, okay, then, yeah, I mean, if you say we don't, we won't. So I written Shah Rukh a letter saying, all these years the kids have sort of emulated you and this is their way of paying back and this is payback time, so there's no charge. Now, with the film stars, as with a lot of very rich people, it matters. Not that the money matters, but
gesture.
No, not even a gesture. I don't think they really love paying. They used to. I've seen it with the rich. They're used to not paying. It's a happy habit. But I mean, I wish I could get used to it, but I can't. So anyway, so the long and short is that because of that, then he sort of fed. So Kajal one day said, when we were in, he said, and come to Manat, we'll have lunch over there and all that. So that's when I first interacted with him. And he's a very, like everybody who's reached the top from the hard grind, he's a very thought through person. In this case, he didn't rely on anyone, even whoever he had to try to sort out or whatever, it was all individual. Not isko baat ki to isse baat ki. One.
Was he shaken?
I mean, obviously, see, this was after he had come out of jail. So obviously, he was calmer, but the little one was crying that Sohani, isn't it? What's her name?
Suhana.
Sohana was, when she heard the story, she was crying, and the little fellow was also, I gave him a big hug, don't worry, that kind of thing. Obviously, our children are, and they had not brought the little fellow in. That little fellow,
Abram.
he was kept out. They didn't want him to, he was not in the lunch. They didn't want him to hear or talk or anything. They wanted to shield him. So he was kept out. Gauri was very shaken, still very distraught. Shah Rukh, of course, was calmer, and I mean, he's a more seasoned person he's seen the world, so that's it. He's a very intelligent man,
But any parent would be shaken at.
I'm sure. Why would you not?
And
fortunately, he was out. So.
And before that, when you were coordinating the whole thing, did the nervousness kind of come across?
Well, I did want to win. I mean, see, these are important matters. If you take a big matter and you lose it, then the whole world is going to say, marwa diya na? Or baitho Taj mein. So, you know what I'm trying to say. So, I mean, obviously we were all, Ruby was very worked up.
I remember interviewing you after Raian was
So, Shah Rukh told me, but one thing, your team took it very personally. I remember Ruby, Shah Rukh, we got bailed like that. Ruby had got emotional. So, he felt good about it. He felt that his team was on his side.
And that's what mattered.
Well, what mattered was the judge's bail. Well, Mukul was brilliant in that. Brilliant. Very, very good.
So, Raian, what next? Is there something that you still have to achieve, have to do? Anything on your wish list?
I've always joked and said that I had two ambitions in life: to be healthy at 90 and rich at 45. And I'm way behind schedule on both. So that's how it is. No, it's just more of the same. A longer life, and God's been very kind. We've had
Raian, the one thing I take away from this conversation and from the many that I've had with you over time, Dil aapka bahut bada hai. I can say that simply because every time we've been in legal trouble. You've been there, and pro bono, it means a lot. In the sense, a journalist can function well when they know a good lawyer is behind them. And you've always been that support system for journalists, so to speak. But also because, you don't, aap jatate nahi ho. You don't do it as a favor. It's just you.
So, I often tell my children that, especially Taira, who sometimes, they can get a little more, Arey yaar boss, we should charge here, arey yaar boss, or not in Shah Rukh, but we should charge that. I said, oh, arey, we are doing this matter. I said, yeah, look, when we were young, how much free matters we did. Because Tarkunde Sahab, my father-in-law, was Manik herself, my father-in-law, they were so, those were idealistic times. People did free work, yeah. It was not, everything was not money. And frankly, beyond a point, what will you do with money? Okay, you have it, you get a little more. How many houses you want to build?
It's all about relationships.
It's also about having what you think is a useful life. I mean, see, at the end of the day, if you can look back on your life and say that because I lived, the lights in a few houses burnt a little brighter, then you've had a good life. And that's what I feel. And God's been disproportionately kind to me, far more than I've deserved.
I think you deserve every bit of it. And it's a great thought. Because of your life, if a few lights in few homes can be brighter, what better? I think that's going to stay with me forever. As always, it has been so beautiful to speak to you.
You better make this viral the way Sunil Shetty went viral.
Raian, do you have to take a pot shot at me every time you meet me?
No.
But that's the fun of a podcast. I mean, Sunil Shetty spoke what he spoke.
Yeah.
People judge him. People judge him. That's their problem.
Frankly, it may be true. I mean, it's possible that he was not lying. I mean, it's just possible that
I
maybe
think
true.
he said it off the cuff. It wasn't a plan.
It
and
may be, yeah.
it would.
And today what happens is when you talk of a personality as sort of prominent as the Prime Minister and at times as divisive as the Prime Minister, then whatever you say, if you say it on this side, you'll get something on that side. So that happens. And that's, as I told you, the politics of today is what the politics was then when we were in college. Are you with him? Are you against him? That's how it is.
So life comes a full circle. And thank you so much for
Chalo.
Baatein Dil se, because really you've touched the core of our hearts. Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Raian.
Navika.
Always a
Thanks
pleasure to have you.
Thanks a lot.